Hello everyone, welcome to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part we are doing HR analytics. We are basically trying to solve some questions that are given here. This is going to be a multi-part series where in second part we will solve more questions. In third part we will solve all the DAX questions and apply these formulas and create these type of different measures, different columns, different tables whenever they will be needed. In the first part, we are solving these questions and doing some exploratory analysis as well. And you can apply these filters and see the data in action. So with the help of these filters, basic idea is why employees leave the organization. So attrition analysis, something that we have done previously, but now some new students are with us, and with them we are going to learn it in a new way. So let's get started with it. Someone who is watching it on YouTube, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comment section below as well. So today we are discussing a project that is HR analytics dataset. It will come with practice questions and solutions. This is a HR dataset in a CSV format, and in the dataset there are 300 rows. We have employee ID, name, department. Department is a categorical field, so I've also mentioned which columns are categorical. It can be HR, sales, IT, finance, marketing, research and development. Gender is there, age is there, then education, whether it's a bachelor's, master's or PhD or diploma. Job role, it can be analyst, manager, executive, etc. And so we have job role, etc. So first let's see the data set. So here you can see, like, here we have employee ID, here we have name, department, gender, age, education, job role, monthly income. It can be considered in USD, INR, whatever you think. Years at company, attrition. This is the main point here. Whether they have left the company, yes or no. Their performance rating, like company conducted some interview, or on the basis of company's internal rating system, what is their performance rating, have they done overtime, their marital status, their work life balance. Like if we ask them how much is your work life balance, so they gave some number. And training time last year, like how much time did they attain some training. So here is like, so training last year is an integer value, work life balance. So these are the columns. So first of all, by looking at this table, do you guys have any questions so far? Now based on this data set, I have given some business questions, some common business questions, like what is the overall attrition rate, which department have the highest attrition, is there a trend between years at company and attrition, how does income vary by department, and so on. So we'll keep solving these questions. So when we will build a dashboard, we will learn how to solve these questions. And I have given some chart visualization type suggestions here, okay, that you are going to use. So I will give you many such practice data sets along with some business questions, along with what type of chart to use. And when you will work on these data sets, then Power BI will be, slowly you will start getting command over Power BI.
डाल दे तो मेरे लिए बड़ा हेल्पफुल रहेगा सिर्फ एक नेशनैलिटी
We
मतलब
can add, like I will give you a data set where I will put nationality there as well. So as Shweta ji said, let's try another data set here. Now we have nationality also. Okay. So same number of columns, just the nationality is added. So, and we have around 300 rows. So obviously this is a synthetic data, but I will also let you know how you can get an authentic and real data. There are some sources. So that is something that I will discuss, but the whole purpose is to understand how to load this data set, how to create a dashboard, and how to answer those questions. So we will open Power BI desktop, and in Power BI desktop, we will simply connect this data set. So now we will simply connect it in Power BI because the file is given as a CSV file. Okay. So first thing that we have to check, you can see here, file is given as a CSV file. So we will go to get data, click on text CSV, and we will select that. So this is HR employees project. This is the file without nationality. This is with nationality. So we will just load the data, wait for it to load, and we can see everything. Okay. Now we will simply load, no need to transform right now. And after loading the data, it is connecting to model, and in this model we don't have any other table, so only one table will be there in the model. Whatever numerical columns are there like age, employee ID, these values are already given in a sigma file. Okay. And nationality is given with nothing. So for this because यहाँ पे कोई problem हुई, so for this just go to table view, and in your table view you can define the category of your columns. You can define, some extra detail about the data, like you can tell Power BI what that particular field is. For example, we know that nationality is a country basically, right? Because German, British, French, or it is given like that. So I don't know whether Power BI will recognize that. But if we later we will change it to Germany, you know, England, France, India, so USA. So you can go and categorize that as a country. But right now, because it is more like a simple value given, so we cannot do that. But this is one thing. Second, the monthly income is a monetary value. So from here we can decide what is that particular currency, because we have multiple nationalities. So I'm just giving it as United States dollars, right? US dollars. So this way, with every value, we will see a dollar sign, and wherever we will use it, it is going to represent that. Next, we will add a text box. In the text box, so whenever we are starting analysis, we first define what we are doing. So in our text box, we will say we are doing HR analytics, and something like factors affecting attrition, or we can write it in simple ways: why employees leave the organization, or whatever you want to write. So whatever is your heading, you can put that heading here, align it to center, give it a size of around 28 or 32, and this way. Now we are going to select this. Today I am going to show you a method where I will use the default theme. Okay, like in my previous classes I have taught you how to use a theme and that color. So I am not going to focus too much on any other theme. I will use the default theme, and later I am going to let Power BI change it automatically. So this is HR analytics, why employee leave the organization. We are trying to find out that, and or factors affecting, and here I have given some suggestions also, right? Or I will give you some heading and suggestions also. Now additionally on the sidebar I am going to put some filters. Whenever we are writing a heading, please follow these steps because it will be too much to write. You can keep a note. Okay, so click on your text box, then go to effects, then go to visual border and shadow and enable that. In your visual border, you can select a color, like I am selecting the primary color, and we can use it like that. So again, click on your text box, go to effects, enable visual border and shadow, and keep it like that. Next, we will go to insert tab, and we can add a sidebar. Sidebar can be added either on the right hand side or the left hand side or somewhere in bottom. That's your choice. So I am just going to add a shape, and I am going to use this shape with rounded top, and I am going to use this shape here. And for this shape I will go to style, color, and choose this color so that everything is in same color. Now let's say we are doing HR analytics. If we have some data, so we can add image from Canva, icon finder, etc. type of websites. You can find out some image that represents your analysis what you are doing. या मारियो डाल देते हैं मजा आएगा. So like I'm just going to use some simple graph here, and you can use any other graph of your choice. So I'm just using this icon. You can find them on Canva, and I'm just adding that. For HR, actually, I'm going to add a team icon later, like team working together. This is HR analytics, and so now we have prepared some dashboard for us. And now let's go and solve some questions. What is the first question? What is overall attrition rate? Okay. So here the answer that you want to show is in card or KPI. So first I'm just going to show you what is overall number of attritions, like how many people have left. So question is how can we show that? Because attrition in our case is given either as yes or no. Do you get this point? So if I will count, so for example, I add a card here and resize this card. Shweta ji, आप बताएं, like how can we find out the attrition value? So if I add attrition here, it is going to show me yes or no, right?
Yeah. So we will do a distinct count.
If we do distinct count, then it will show 2. Why 2?
Mm.
Because we only have two categories here, yes or no,
Oh,
right?
okay. We will count of
If
count
we do count,
value.
if we do count, it will show 300, just to be clear. So
So we
now
will use some.
we'll have to use some filter or something, that tells
Okay.
that this is something that yes, it is attrition. So for that, we are going to introduce filters today to you guys at least. So these are filters. Okay. Whenever you create a visual, I'm not talking about text. Okay. I'm not talking about image. Whenever we are creating a visual, like from the visualization pane, in that visual we see some filters. Okay. Filters are of three types: filter on this visual, filter on this page, and filter on all pages. Right now we only have one page, so we don't have to worry about this, but filter on this page and filter on this visual. So will you want a filter on this visual or all on the entire page? Because you just have to answer this question, right? Like how many employees have actually left the organization? So you will just add attrition as a filter here and just select yes, right? Let me show you once
Mm-hmm.
again. So this is filters on this visual, okay? Filters on this
Mm-hmm.
visual. Which visual? The one that is selected right now. Here you will
Mm-hmm.
add attrition, which is a categorical value,
Mm-hmm.
and we will select yes. So here we selected count, which was showing the total number of rows, and here we only selected yes out of it. So it automatically filtered out how many people have left the organization. Okay, so this is count of attrition, or we can say attrition count. Although it is not a rate I will teach you, but this is attrition count, like how many of them have left the organization. Now, in this visual, we have format your visual where we have call out value. So we will use a smaller call out value around 35, and here we will use this, which is our primary color. And for attrition count, we can show something else. For example, let's choose this one. I'm just selecting the colors that we have here. Okay, now here also I will go to general tab, effects. I told you, right? In effects, I'm going to select the visual border and shadow. I'm showing it once again. Select your visual, go to format, general, effect, visual border and shadow. For visual border, we can select the primary color and give it a rounded corner of 12 pixel to show it like this. Is it okay? So,
Yes.
and you guys can just, you know, replay the video, try this, or I will pause in between and give it to you. But this is our first question's answer, which we are showing as a visual. So it show as card KPI. It showed it as a card KPI. It's not rate, but because we are just diving into this topic, I will tell you rate also. Second is which department have the highest attrition. Okay. So to visualize this, I told you when the data will be categorical and we have to show something numerical, we can select a bar chart, right? So like which department have the highest attrition. Now problem is, or something like how to do that here. So for example, if I select a column chart, okay, let me try without any DEX. So if I create a column chart, in this column chart on x-axis, what will I put? On x-axis, what do I have to put?
Category, like
Something
department.
like department,
Department.
because it's a vertical thing, right? So on x-axis you will put. But if I would have selected this one, so in that case you would have put it on the
Put it
y
in
end,
Y.
right? So now we are doing that. So we'll put department here. On y axis we are going to put count of employees. And how can I put count of employees? Like where will I find that? Employee ID. Every employee has a unique ID, right? You can see from 1 to 300. So we will put count of employee ID. So it is going to tell us that in HR we have 58 employees. HR में 58, in finance we have 55, IT 50, and so on. Okay, else it's a random data. So now first this thing, and now we have to tell which department has highest attrition rate. Okay, so whenever we are doing either a stacked column chart or a clustered column chart, all of them have a field called legend. What will this legend do? A legend is used for color. If you remember our previous lecture, right? This legend is used for color. And stacked means in stacked you will have two separate segments per bar. So if I just add attrition here, can you tell which department has highest attrition?
HR.
Hmm. In
No,
HR,
I think I lowest.
in IT, I think
Hmm.
yes, 28 is there,
Yeah.
and in marketing, 29 is there, right? So basically, this chart is giving us an indication. If we want, we can now enable data labels to see that number also. So now you can see, so 30 out of 34, this is 34, 24, 28, 27, 22, 28, right? So we can see either in sales, more people have left, marketing also, or IT. So these are three departments where actually more people are leaving the organization. And if you want to show it as an exact percentage, for that
Hmm.
we have this chart, 100% stack chart. Okay, if you will open 100% stack chart, then you will
Yeah.
find, so it tells us that in marketing actually 64% of employees have left the organization. Like suppose this company was established 10 years ago, from that time we have this data. So currently we have 16 employees and 29 employees have left the organization. So this is the usage of 100% stack column chart. Is it okay? And this way actually we can tell the answer, right?
Yes.
So this is why use of these different charts is important, and we can check when it is going to show the data. So you can see it is not showing. So we will zoom it to see, but this is the use of 100% stack, and we can see from here also, right? And now we have to change the heading. So we will go to General tab. So select the visual, format your visual, General tab, title. Here we have employee count by attrition rate, right, or something like that. So by attrition rate, and we will again align it to center, text color, use it like this, make it bold. It's a simple chart. Here also we have to provide some kind of border. So we will again go to General tab, effects, visual border, shadow. In visual border I will select the same color. Rounded corner I will select 12 pixel, so it will give us this answer. Okay, so this is showing us employee count by attrition rate. First I'm going to answer the question, then maybe I'll arrange it. Is there a trend between years at company and attrition? First of all, do you guys understand this question?
Is there a trend between years at the company? So it's basically a correlation between
Year
year and
years at years and number of people who have left, right?
left.
So what we can do here is, because see, if we have two numbers, okay, if we have two numbers like performance rating and monthly income, okay, I'm just showing it as a separate example. You know that performance rating and monthly income are both numbers, right? Years and company and monthly income are also both numbers. So when you have to show the relationship between two numbers, then the type of plot that you will make is a scatter plot. Is it okay for you guys to understand? So we have to plot a scatter plot. Here in a scatter plot, we have two axes, x and y. Okay. So the one which is independent, will go on which axis? Suppose I have these two axes, right? This is x, this is y. I have to show relation between these two variables. X can be time, x can be voltage. Let's say x is voltage and y is current. So which one will be independent? So you will put the independent one on x axis, okay? Because we want to see if x moves, what is the relationship of y with respect to x? And let's say the graph is like this, okay? I'm just showing a random graph. So this will be a relation between x and y, and we can draw some scatter point over, like something like that, okay? So this will tell us that yes, when x is increasing, y is also increasing. If a graph is like this, then we can say yes, when x is decreasing, y is also decreasing. अगर ग्राफ ऐसा है like this, what will you say? Like how will you define it?
That
Huh?
means the y increase, the x also decrease. X increases, so that means the y also will be decreases.
Decreases. So x was initially high. When x was low, y was initially high. When x kept on increasing, y kept on decreasing. But after a certain point, when x is increasing, there is no change in y, right? Right or wrong? Like
Yes.
after certain point, like from here onwards, no matter how much you increase the x, no matter how much you increase x's magnitude, y will not change. So some kind of
This
graph,
is
and we have studied this kind of, you know, charts in different type of physics related chapter, like this one for example, right?
this is region, saturation region.
Yes, this is just like a parabola, right? Like you have thrown a ball and ball is covering a distance, so ball went on to a particular height, but because of acceleration due to gravity it came down, whatever reasons is there. So like that's what it says, like this is how we predict relation between x and y. And that's why, let's say we put something like work life balance or performance rating. So let's say we put years at company on x axis, like if someone spends more years in company, then on y axis we are putting monthly income. But it is just showing me a point. What will I get from it? So the thing is, you have studied so far that Power BI by default shows, you know, applies a function, applies summarization. Do you get my point? Like whenever we add a number, for example, if I will add a number like monthly income, it will show me sum of that, right? Is it clear? But in scatter plot, what will you do? You will just go here and say don't summarize. Years at company, don't summarize. Sum of monthly income, don't summarize. Although we cannot see any relation here because it is a random data, but usually you will see either a increasing trend or decreasing trend or a cluster of people, okay? Let's say if we want to see department wise people, so we can put the legend here. So as a legend we can put that department, so you will see a cluster of people. It will not be possible in the random data, but actually you will see people divided into different clusters, and I will give you one data set where we have a plus, you know, perfect example of uh, 5 clusters. For example,
Yes.
this data. So this data shows us the, you know, clusters here, like clusters of customers. So this is their spending score. This is, let's say, some other value, and on the basis of their spending score and let's say their experience or their age or whatever. So you can see five different values, five different clusters, and that's why it is showing us that these are clustered. I will teach this data set also, and I will teach you about clustering. So but here you cannot divide them because it is random, and that's why the question was asked. Now the question, let's come back to the question. The question was asked, is there a trend between years at company and attrition, right? So that's why it is suggesting line or scatter chart. So how can we answer this question? I told you about scatter plot, but to answer this question, we will use a line chart, let's say. And in the line chart, on x-axis, I will put something like years at company because it is asking relation between years and company and attrition. On y-axis, I will put count of employees. So I will put employee ID. So this will show me a graph like this. Like you can see number of people on the basis of years at company. And then as a legend, you can see as a legend, we are going to put attrition. So here you will see this is no, this is yes. So you can see in case of yes, some people who have spent around 8 years at company, you can see for 24 years, 8 have left, 2 are remaining. So I, at least I can see that yes, when years are more than 20, actually more employees are leaving the company from this data. But you can give your own hypothesis on it, like give your own analysis on this. And we can copy this styling from home. We will copy the format painter and apply here. So this is attrition by years at company. Any questions, any suggestions, anything here?
जैसे आपने
Like you are saying, like how can we decide line chart? Because first of all, years at company is a continuous thing, right? Like 0, 1, 2, 3. So people, there are people who have spent 40 years, and we want to segment people, and we want to analyze like how many of them leave the organization, and on the basis of number of years they have spent. So one way is to do this. Okay, let's say we go with a clustered column chart. I'm just showing you another way, and obviously because we are learning things, so in bar chart also, if you put years at company, so how many groups will be there, how many bars will be there? First of all, like I'm seeing from 0 to 40, so I expect 40 groups. And on y-axis we will put total number of employees, right? So what is this chart, what is this chart showing us? First of all, this is distribution of employees, right? What is this? Distribution of years at company. Do you understand this? Yes, no, maybe,
Yes, 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 yes,
right?
sir.
This is distribution. What is distribution showing? That people who have spent 5 years at company, there are 12 people, right?
Yes,
People who have spent 8 years at company, there are 12 people. This is the highest, right? And others are lower. So you ask me whether we can just show it with the line chart. I am showing it to you with the help of a distribution chart. Now here also we have legend. Just put attrition here. Okay. And actually I will show it as a stack chart because I don't want too many clusters. So now you can see the ratio, right? Now you can see the ratio, how many of them leave the organization and how many of them stay. If you will see these charts particularly, like in this range, I can see more yes here, right? In this range. So you will actually find out those years at company where probability of a employee leaving the organization is more. For example, no employee has left the company after 4 years, right? Years at sorry 1 year. So either they leave it immediately, like they don't like the culture or something, they leave it. But if they spend 1 year, they at least stay there. In 2 years, you can see how many employees are leaving. After 5 years, yes, they are switching. So every year by year, you are seeing that. So this is also one way of showing the same answer in a bar chart. I also want to teach you a very important thing. Don't you think there are too many bars here?
Yes, sir. Too. It's too
It's too,
confusing.
yeah, it's too confusing. So, like usually you will see something like if a column is given, so you will not see these many bars. So, because we have already answered this question, years at company, so I will just remove it or replace it with age. Same goes with age also, right? Too many bars. How can we reduce this too many bars problem? Power BI has a automated solution for it, like inbuilt solution for it, sorry. And that is these three dots, okay? So what we want to do is reduce the number of bins in age. What we want to do? Reduce the number of bins or reduce the number of bins in some numerical value. Number of bins in some numerical value. So to reduce the number of bins, what we can do, we can create groups. So यहाँ पे in Power BI we have groups. So you will click on that numerical variable and click on new group. Please note it down somewhere, or this is something you have to try. Create new group. When you will create new group, it will show you groups like this. It will create bins. Bins is what? Groups. Groups is what? These many number of bars. Here approximately I think we are seeing around 40 bars, right? So now you can create the groups on the basis of two logics. You can create the group on the basis of two logics. Like one logic is on the basis of size of bins. Bin size 2. What does this mean? Bin size 2. No. Bin size 2. Every bin of 2 years. Do you get my point? Yeah, to increase the gap, like we can do 5. So obviously number of bins will reduce, na? Because
Mm-hmm.
the whole range is from 20 to 60. We can see there are 40 years, right? So if we do 5, that means approximately 8 bins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we can directly say we want number of bins. So I will say I want 8 bins. Okay? Then bin size becomes 4, 5, right? So either you do it like that or do it like this, whatever you prefer. So mostly I do it like this. Like I decide how many groups I want. Like because I have seen in Python by default, whenever we create a histogram, so bin count is 10. Okay, so I will keep 10 and it is giving bin size of 4, or in this case I will keep 8. And now age bins group will be created, and now I will just replace this age with age bins. Now you can see, you can analyze it in a better way, right? So this is what 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 40, and so on. So this is giving you an indication. So we can see that people in the age group of 55, 25 of them have left, 15 of them are still there. So now you can see which age groups are more vulnerable to employees leaving the organizations and which age groups are better for us. So obviously this is synthetic data. We are getting mixed values here, but actual data you will get a proper indication, and when we will copy that you will be able to see the numbers also. And this chart here, okay, this chart here is called histogram. What?
Histogram.
Histogram is by default not there in Power BI. I am not going to confuse you, but okay, let's leave it. In Tableau, in many other tools, histogram chart is there. Using some external visuals, we can get histogram in Power BI. I will teach you that also. But I think we don't need it because we have groups, right? And that's what actually histogram does. If you have groups, you just create the bin size according to your own requirement and then create it. So whenever we will have age, remember, set it as a rule. Whenever we will have age, and obviously age will have a huge range, like 95 out of 100 times, I will create a histogram and then show age, and not like
Why
what we
Power BI don't have histogram?
because they have this group thing, na?
Sir, why Power BI don't have a histogram diagram?
Because
We
it
can
brings.
we can ask
It is
we,
inside.
we can ask Mr. Bill about it. Like why have you not given? Because see, we have the option, na? Simple. Like
Yes.
you can create group and create a histogram in such a way, right? Like there are ways to do that. So maybe that's why they have not kept it. But there are other visuals. I'm saying you can see here, like you can import a visual from a file. Okay. So you can see I have this histogram.p by viz. Can you see?
Yes.
So this is the visual file, like visualization file. Or this is a visual. So import successful. Now you can see this is an external import, right? This is some kind of histogram. In this you can see order, values, right? Upper specification, target, lower specifications. So like here we can show the data. The thing is, so there is this website called appsource.microsoft.com. You can write it somewhere. appsource.microsoft.com. Okay. Here you have apps, categories, etc. So here we can write something like histogram. Like I search for it. So if you will write histogram, you can see. So histogram by PQ system. So you can see some users have added these visuals. Okay. Some of them are free, you know, you can see histogram with points. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So you can click here and get it now. Like for example, if you want to use a specific type of histogram, so you can find those different type of charts here. So in one chapter I will give you, you know, information on some really cool uh, additional visuals that we can actually use. So here in app source you can find any other type of chart that you cannot find there. So one of them is histogram. Okay, like this is there. But I will just recommend you to use this method. Like it will be faster. So now this is how you can show distribution, which is basically uh, different way of showing a histogram without importing a histogram. And next answer is how does income vary by department? So this will be easy, na? Like how does income vary by department? So we will use a simple chart here. and we will use clustered bar chart because we already have department here, and here instead of anything else we will simply add income. So and if you remember monthly income, we already added it as a monetary value, and we will select average. So from here we can say that in marketing and R&D both income are pretty much close. In IT the income is less, in HR it is there, but you can see that, right? And suppose you want to compare them. If you remember our last day's lecture, I told you about funnel chart, right? That in funnel chart you will actually find that something that is highest will be on the first rank, and then you can see percentage of first 99.71, this, and lowest is in IT, this is 93% of the highest salary, highest average salary. So this way actually we can answer the question either via bar chart or a funnel chart, and this will give us answer also. Only thing that I will do here is I will change the color to this theme color. Okay. So is this the correct way to answer this question? How does income vary by department? Do employees doing overtime show lower work-life balance? So they are saying that if the employees are doing overtime, are they showing lower work-life balance? Okay. So we have our work-life balance chart here. So we have work-life balance. So based on their rating, they have given it out of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So we can try a matrix chart here. When you will create a matrix chart, it will ask you for rows and columns. Okay. So in rows and columns, we can bring two fields. So let's try that. Like they are asking, one field is work-life balance and other field is overtime. So one is work-life balance and other is overtime. Overtime is only yes or no. Okay. So in rows, I will put overtime, and in column, I will put work-life balance. So what is this chart showing us? This is basically creating tabs. Like here we will have overtime no, here we will have overtime yes, and here we will have 1, 2, 3, 4. So what should we bring in values? So in values we can bring something that we can count. For example, employees. Okay. So this is the data, and now to fill it, we can go to its settings, we can go to values, we can increase the value size, and this is header. Okay, this one is header, so we can increase the header size. So this is showing us, now what is this showing us? This is showing us that people who have done overtime, yes, there are 46 people who have said, they have given a rating of 1. Okay, 25 people have given a rating of 4. But here you can now we can give different type of text color to our header. We can give a different background to our header. Let's say I want to give this background. Similarly to your values also, like because we are learning this also. So let's say we are going to show values in this color and alternate text color in this color. I'm just giving different values. This is one way. Now what we have done here is a matrix chart, and in matrix chart, if you will scroll down, okay, you will have different type of options like column grand total, row grand total. So this is row grand total, this is column grand total. If you don't want to show anything, you can just go here, or if you want to change their color, so you can change it from here. Okay, so this is something that you are going to try today, but we'll just keep it as black. And now we have cell elements. This is important thing, cell elements. And we, in cell elements, we have data bars. So these data bars will represent the number in form of a bar. That's it. Like if the number is higher, you can see higher bar values. If the number is lower, you can see lower bar values. Okay. You can also show it as a font color. If the number is lower, you can see a very light font color. So you can either show it as a font color, you can either show it as a data bar or as a background color. So I will prefer background color. So this is another way of creating a heat map. Okay. In a heat map, you can see those portions which are more darker in color. Which one is darker here? No and 2, right? So most number of people are there in no and 2 range. You also have options to enable icons here, right? Like here you can see these icons are representing something. So low values are being represented in a red diamond color, higher values are being represented in a green circle, and values that are falling in midpoint are being shown as a yellow triangle. Can we change it? Yes. You can go to FX, and you here you have the entire logic. If value is greater than equal to 0 and less than 33, so show it as a red diamond. If it is greater than 33, less than 67, so this is another way of showing KPIs also, na? Like if you have
Yes,
met the KPI, you will show it as green. If you have not met the KPI, or KPI isn't in an acceptable range, so you can use it for a lot of purposes. That's why this matrix chart has a lot to offer. We will keep studying it on different type of examples, but this is one of them. Okay, and if value is between 67 to 100, you are actually showing it as a green one. If you want to add more variations, so like you can also use arrows, or you can use empty signal, 1 bar signal, 2 bar signal, 3 bar, 4 bar, right? So we have different type of those values which we will learn later. So this is another way of showing the data, and I will just reduce it. So I will simply copy this format painter and apply here also, so that we have the shade. So this is one way of showing the data. So it is showing what is the gender distribution by department. Now आप लोग बताइए what type of chart will you prepare to show this answer. Basically we are asking in every department what is the ratio of each gender that we have.
Straight column and
Actually we have
stack.
stacked, right? So we can either show stacked, or we can also show donut chart. Let's try donut. And how will we actually get the data when we'll show it by donut? So in legend we will actually put department. Okay, let's try that. And in values we will put employee ID. So it will show us I attrition डाल दें. So we will put department, so it will show us distribution in every department. Okay, then we have detail and tooltip. So in detail we can put gender. So for every department it is going to divide it in two parts. Okay, so this is other, this actually in three parts. So this is female, male, and this. Although we can show the data like this, but it will be very difficult for someone to understand, right? So that's why if we simply show it as a stacked bar chart, I think this will be more easy to understand, right? So here you can see in HR department, most people are from other gender. In finance, 17 of them are here, 16 and 22 are from other gender. So you can see the distribution, and this is how we can answer this. And now we can copy and apply here. And instead of count of employee, yeah, employee count by department and gender. And just to finish, because we have kept the first row for KPIs, so I will add some KPIs here quickly. Now, can you tell which KPIs can we actually show in this data set?
It will
Count of count of
maximum
Like total employees.
wise, then total gender wise count,
So no, gender wise, obviously we can show it in some other.
national,
So let's do it. So
national.
first we will select this. Okay. So this is our
maximum and
card.
minimum iteration of the count.
Just a minute. So first we selected this. First we will start with employee ID. Okay. Count of employee ID, and we will say we will not use any filter here. So without any filter, there are 300 employees, 155 have left. Then we will say what is, I will put what is the no, average years at company. Okay, not sum of years, but on an average, you can see the value is very high, which will tell that people are not leaving the company very early. And if I remove attrition, you can see it is reducing. So this is average of years at company. Then what other thing I would like to know is what is average monthly income of these employees. So on an average, they are earning 68.5K. Okay, we can rename for this visual like average monthly income. And now this is kind of a homework for you also. What other data do you want to show here? You can show here, and I will just put one like training time because we have to answer other questions also. So what is the average training time? So they have spent 5, and what is the training time values? Training time last year. So it may be in months or hours or minute. So we will check that. So this is average of training time they spent. So now we have this simple dashboard here, and actually I can reduce some width here to fit them more properly. And I have already told you how to fix uh, you know units, right? Do you remember from previous class that here we are showing it as 1000. If we have to show the actual value, we can go here and select display units as none. Do you remember this?
Display.
Right, 1000 or million,
Yes.
right? So you will try this also. Now we have kept the sidebar. Now tell me, are there some fields that we can show as a filter?
Yeah, we can show as slicers we can put, and then we can see each gender wise what is the average income, what is the
Yes.
and then nationality wise.
So we will put that. So we have added a slicer here. Okay. So we can start from top. Like attrition is our most important field here. So I will just show it as a drop down because I want to show many different values. Okay. And here what I can do is, because we are on a dark background, so I told you we can go to effect, disable the background. In visuals, for slicer header and values, we can select a particular font color. Okay, and this, and we can select for values also, we can select little bit of darker color, yes, so that when we'll open it will show, or maybe this one, it is okay. Now we have attrition. I also showed you that we can send it to back, right? If you remember from previous class, so we can format and send something to back which we want, you know, back in the layer. We will select this. If you want, we can go to effects and enable visual border, okay, and we can show a border color also. I know I'm doing a lot of stuff that is not necessary here, but if you, at least when you will create something, you will remember some of this, right, that I
Yes, sir.
showed you. So like attrition, and you want nationality wise also, right? So if I show it nationality wise, or you can create another dashboard. Let's say we are out of you know we are out of dashboards or out of area here, so we can create another copy of it where we can show more reports. So like we can keep rest of the report in part 2. So we will do that. We'll create a copy of it, and in our second part we are going to do more analysis on it, because this is a great way to learn use of all these different visuals, right? Like you can see where we have used 100% stacked, where we have used normal stacked. So this will give you a great idea. So let's say for American you can see 69,000, for Australian 62, for British 68. So when you will get an actual data set, you will be able to see that value in actual sense. Like if you have collected data of Americans, you will see the salary are high as compared to some other countries, right? So there will be difference, and in different departments also. So that's why having a department here will also be very important. Similarly, we can add, because that's the important thing about having these important filters like education, right? Gender wise. So today you will create a dashboard. I will give you another dashboard which is similar to this. We already did that. So you will show us gender wise distribution of income. Okay. Marital status wise, job role wise. There is a lot more remaining here. So here, for example, we do job role wise, and we create another filter where we will put marital status. Now you can see that based on area we have less amount of values. So what if we create dynamic measures in some chart? Do you get my point? What if I can select any value here and it will show in the same chart, like distribution of that particular thing. I will show you that. So we will learn the concept of multiple measures also, where we can, in one chart itself, on the basis of filter, we can actually show multiple measures, like for example performance rating, training, work life balance here at company. I can show everything in one go. Okay. We will learn that as well. So this is a beginner friendly HR analytics dashboard part 1. So we will call it as report 1. We will duplicate it, and in our second report we are going to do a lot more. We are going to learn more charts on the same data, and I will give you another data set link which is more realistic than this. Okay, so you can try that as well. So we'll continue with all of that in our next class.